Win up to £25,000. The Community Lottery, a subscription-based lottery that allows you to continue to support good causes that matter. When you win, good causes win. Every month, eligible good causes have the opportunity to win a share of funds that could help them continue the good work that they do in our communities. To apply, there's no complicated forms, nor do you have to be a registered charity. Just grab your phone, send us a 60-second video explaining your good cause and the difference having extra funding would make to your project. Visit thecommunitylottery.com. Hit the play button and sign up for either 13 weekly draws or by direct debit for just £4.35 that gives you 4 weekly draws. You could have the chance of winning £25,000. The aim of the Community Lottery is to create an additional source of funding that will enable good causes to undertake innovative projects that matter. If you're in, the communities win.
Ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up, raise them up.
Good evening, and welcome to the After Dark show. This is your girl Yvonne Michelle, and I'm here again for another week of relationship advice, relationship talk, relationship real life building stuff. So this week we have got a great show in store for you. Absolutely superb show. It's going to be fire. I don't say that lightly, but it's going to be fire. So let me take these off because I can see all sorts of stuff going on through them. So today, as I rub my hands, I just want to thank you first of all for all the prayers, all the positive energy that you guys have been saying for my sister. I just want to announce and let you know that my sister is awake. She is off the ventilator and she is doing well. She is now in recovery, and we still ask for your prayers. Keep praying that she will make a full recovery and fully back to full strength. So I just wanted to start off the show by thanking you for doing that. And you know, keep praying for my family. We still have a few people who are unwell in the family. So keep praying for the family as you pray for your own loved ones. Okay, so last week we had a great show. We had our special guest Zora Johnson on, and we've had so much feedback, so much so that we are going to invite Zora back. She'll be back in about 4 weeks' time, and we're going to do another show. But that show will be living with menopause through a relationship. So we want to look at that and look at the highs, the lows, and really start to educate both men and women how to cope with that. But this week is Red Letter Week. Now, we had Red Letter Week last week, and the letters are coming in fast and furious. Now, when this started happening, it was just one letter here, one letter there. But now it seems to be a thing. So if you have a dilemma, please do send them to me, and between myself and the panel, we will do our best to help you through that situation. And also, if you see something, maybe you may see something on YouTube, or a clip maybe about somebody saying something about a relationship. Now, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be any kind of relationship, mother and child, whatever it is. Send it over. Let's have a look and let's discuss it. So we have 2 letters this week, but we're going to focus on one, and then I might bring in the next one as we go along. But before any of that happens, I am going to bring in our great panel. So let's see who is in the green room this week. Who's there?
Hi.
Hey, Faye, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. You?
Wonderful, wonderful. I am good. I'm just setting up these cameras in my office. Here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that's that one done. And right, so Faye, I know that the others will be coming in shortly, but as it's just
Oh, we got one.
I just mentioned it and then they came.
They're here.
Oh dear. Okay, guys. Right. Great stuff. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, all.
Evening.
Hello. So we just want to check your. So Michelle, you're going to need your light. You're very dark. So we're going to need your light to lighten you up a little bit. And can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can.
Yes.
Fantastic. Because I know over the last few weeks it's been we can't hear. So I'm going to put the comments up so I can see who's there and see what's going on here.
Give us. We're going to go off and come back on.
Okay, lovely.
See you in a minute.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so those of you who are at home, the keyboard warriors, good evening. Those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, good evening, and welcome to the After Dark show. Now, this is a show where your comments count, so we want your comments this evening. Now, I do have a letter from somebody who watches the show, and I also have another dilemma. So we are going to go forward and we're going to move. So I just want to catch up. Good evening, Anthony McGregor, Kellyanne Ross. Good evening. How you doing? Thank you for being here this evening. So I'm just going to say hello. I'm going to say hello to Theo. How are you, Theo?
I'm good. How are you doing? Looking very well, as usual.
Thank you. We're trying, because Valentine is just coming around the corner.
Okay. So you have a Valentine's then?
And I have a few.
Oh, sorry. Hey.
Yes, well, you can't put all your eggs in one basket,
Okay.
But the eggs are different sizes, you see.
Okay.
Yes, I have a big one. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I'm watching that one. Yes, good to have you here. Hi, Tony. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm very well. Just
you're low, Tony.
Sharing the love between my groups.
Okay, lovely.
Tony, you're low. Your volume's low.
Yeah, you are a bit low.
Oh, sorry, guys.
You're going to turn yourself up. Hi, Angela Kozia. Good evening to you. Yaba, how you doing? Good to see you here. You made it here. And Faye, you are here. Representing the female then. Yes. Okay, so tonight's topic. I asked the question on Facebook. I did ask earlier. Right, so the topic is, what would you do if you were living in a sexless relationship or marriage? Tonight, letter asks is the question, is it okay to seek sex elsewhere? So, without further ado, I'm going to read this letter. For clearing my throat. Are we ready? Okay, so dear Yvonne, I have been married for 11 years and I am no longer happy. I am very frustrated. Me and my husband live like roommates. He shows no interest in me sexually. When we first got married, we had what I considered to be a healthy sex life, but over the years it has deteriorated down to nothing. We have no intimacy, no touching, no nothing. We have a great friendship, but we're not mates. I have asked him to come to counselling with me. I've asked him to see a doctor in case there's something medically wrong, and he shuts down and thinks I'm nagging. The question is now, she's saying, how can I be nagging if I'm asking for my husband to make love to me. I have reached a point where I am thinking about having a new partner just for the sexual part of the relationship. My needs need to be fulfilled. I even watched your show on sex toys and thought that might help to spice things up. He didn't engage and won't even watch me play. I asked him if he still wants to be with me, and he says yes. So I don't know what to do. I love my husband, but I don't love not having sex. What would you do to keep your partner interested in you? What would you introduce your relationship to keep it alive? Please help, Anonymous. So there you have it. 11 years married. And she is saying that they are friends. Their relationship has become more like roommates rather than them having a marital relationship, a sexual relationship. So, we've had many shows and we know how important, sex is in a relationship. It's not everything to do with the relationship, but it is an important part. And so here she is saying that she has tried, because obviously I've condensed the letter down because we've been here to Thy Kingdom Come, if I was to read the letter, and if there's any questions and there's answers within the letter, I will say. I'm also very conscious of because it is quite explicit actually, this letter. I'm very conscious to keep the person's anonymity private, because she may have said things to friends and they may pick up on certain things. So I'm really mindful of that because we are talking about a marriage. So guys, 11 years married, she's saying that she's frustrated. Her husband is not interested in sex. So tonight we have Theo, who's married, and we have Herbie, that's married. We have Tony, who's single.
2 times married.
Two times married. 2 times. All right, brother. Next time with me this evening. He's 2 times married. 2. And we've got Faye, who's also been married. I have been married.
One time married.
One time and nearly 3 times but 1 time married. And so we've got a lot of experience here tonight. This is actually a really, really, really good panel. So the couple in question, they are, it's a later marriage, I know that. And I believe the lady is 49, soon to be 50. Because she did mention it. I've just seen a question from Nevada. How old are the couple? She didn't say how old her husband is, but I know that she's 49. Some of the things that she has said in the letter gives me the impression that he might be a little bit older, but not too much. So, okay, so who wants to jump in first? Who wants to go?
I'll go in first.
Come on, Faye.
Okay, so speaking from personal experience, when I stopped having sex with my husband was because I checked out of the marriage. I checked out. And so anything that he was going to do, anything that he was going to try, I was not interested because I was just not interested in him. I loved him because, he was my husband and we made a child together and whatever else. But there were things progressively in our relationship that were just not right. And we were like roommates. I was sleeping downstairs, he was sleeping upstairs. I checked out. So that's my quick response.
Okay, so when you say you checked out, you were no longer interested in him, no longer interested in the marriage, or any part of it?
Any part of it.
Okay. That's a fair enough statement to make. You're judging that from your own perspective and your own point of view. Okay, could it be possible that he's still interested, do you think? Could
I
it be?
don't think he's interested. I think,
Why?
well, I think he still loves her. Don't get me wrong. Wait a minute, Tony. I'm speaking.
Start already. Okay. All right.
I think he's still interested. I mean, there's two things. I think he could have some kind of medical issue that doesn't allow him to want to do it, and his drive has reduced significantly. So it could be that reason, or the other reason could be that he's checked out too. So that there are two reasons why, but it's for her to explore which of those reasons it is, to be honest. Because it could be a medical reason which doesn't give him a sex drive or doesn't give him, but if he's not willing to explore that, then you have to kind of question why you're not willing to build back the relationship or build back that side of the relationship. Why, what the issue is for why that's not happening.
So, I mean, I see people are starting to do this thing and jump into conclusion again. He wants this, he wants that. She has this, she has that. We're just jumping to conclusions. If we're going to address this woman's problem, we need to know all the information. I'm not going to jump to no conclusions because, you know, you're fixing a million problems. I'm not going to say it's one or the other. It could be a million reasons why.
But it's about help, Tony. It's about giving some advice about what they could.
A doctor ain't going to prescribe you a pill unless he knows all the symptoms.
Yeah, I know, but
all
Tony,
the things. What you've just said is A or B based on one symptom.
What we know.
We have to base it as
what we know.
Base it on what we know. And she's made some statements here, but she also asks, the first thing that she says is, what would you do if your partner showed no interest in you sexually? Bearing in mind that she's been married for 11 years and she is frustrated. They haven't had sex. She said they haven't had sex for 2.5 years.
I personally would discuss why that reason is with the partner, and if he can't give me a reason, or he can't, I would also talk to him about having another partner, just for my sexual needs, because she's in her 40s, and being in my 40s, I know that sex drive is very high at that point. So it will be very frustrating. It's no different to if a man's sex drive was high, you know, he'd expect that his needs would be satisfied. It's no different for us as women. So I think I would actually discuss whether it's something he wants to work on, and if it's something that he doesn't want to work on, then we would have to look at alternatives. And that alternative would be to have somebody who addresses those needs for me.
We've got a comment here from the DJ Super Me, my friend. Hello, how you doing? The DJ Super Me. He says it sounds like they're going into cohabitating, and he suffers from andropause. That's what he's saying. He's suffering from andropause. Diane Beswick says you have to base it on what we know, and that's the truth. We do have to base this on what we know. So, what would you do if your partner showed no interest in you sexually? They've been married for 11 years.
Okay, can I ask a question? Can I jump in here?
Yeah, hold on. They've been married for 11 years, and in the last 2.5 years, there has been no sexual intimacy. So we're talking about sexual intimacy as well, because she does go on to say there's no touching, no nothing. So there's no intimacy at all. They are like roommates. Come in, Tony.
Okay, so the people who are saying the woman working hard, him spent, again, you're just throwing in assumptions just for the sake of, you know, it's tittle tattle. This is kind of like the sun, you know, oh, this happened, so that happened, you know. Okay, my question is, I want to know more. So the question immediately says to me, he has no interest in me sexually. Does he have interest in you any other way?
Yes, she does say that. This is about the sex in their relationship. Right. She's made that she wants intimacy with her husband. you know, they do get on. She does say that they do get on, but they are like roommates, and she wants more than that.
Okay, so next question. How is their relationship outside of the sex? Is everything rosy?
They are like roommates. They're friends.
They're friends.
That's what she says. They're friends. So we can assume that they get on. They get on as friends.
Okay,
you know?
But friends can talk.
She did say she's tried talking, but he shuts down. She's been very. I think she's actually said quite a lot. If we listen to what she said, she says that they you know, she's tried many times to talk to him, and he shuts down. He won't talk to her about that at all. Okay. And she's tried to take the counselling. She's tried to go to seek medical help as well. She's put both of those points in the letter which I read out.
And there's no intimacy as well. So that's very, very difficult. I mean, for a lot of women, the intimacy is a big part of that whole. It may not even be the sexual content. It's the you know, the intimacy. Because intimacy is sometimes more important than the sexual content of it. You know, she's not touching, they're not kissing, they're not. I mean, that could be just a stranger in the street, really, that you just meet and you're not, you know, you don't have any physical contact with them. You know, the fact that he's familiar to you doesn't make it any different to how you would treat your friend in the street, to be honest.
Yeah, but a stranger on the street ain't 11 years invested in
I appreciate that, but where they've got to,
paying your mortgage, putting food on a plate, driving you to church, you know.
Yeah, I think, you know, a part of me gets what you're saying, Tony, but we can only go with what we've got. Yeah. And so we're not going to have all the details, and this is only a 2-hour show. So, you know, and we're lucky that we've got 2 hours. So we have to go with what we've got. We have to think about the questions that she's asked. So she's asked, what would you do? How would you cope? How would you personally cope being married to somebody for 11 years and they are not showing any interest in you sexually? How would you cope with that? I think the question's very simple. Let's not overcomplicate this thing. Let's keep it simple and keep it moving. What would you do? I'm going to bring in Theo. Theo, could you come in?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
What would I do?
Yeah, that's the first question she asked. What would you do?
Well, if my partner's not responding to the conversation, then there's a problem. It's going to be a problem, isn't it? Because that's going to be the start of the relationship breaking down. Mm-hmm. Because, as we said, sex is a very big part of a relationship. No matter what people say, it's a very big part. As you can see, everything else is fine in the relationship, but the sex isn't working. So the relationship now is going to be starting to become frayed because he's not showing any interest in it. If my partner or my wife wasn't showing any interest in me, it would affect me, and I would start looking outside. Of course, I'm going to start looking outside because that's part of a relationship. As my wife likes to say, you know, you're not filling all the boxes, so not every part of you is being satisfied. So if that's the 20% of the relationship, there's an 80-20 rule that goes around. So if 80% is being full and that 20% isn't being full, I might go somewhere else and get that 20%. So that's going to be the start of it, and I'll openly discuss that and say, look, if this is not going to happen, then I will go outside. Okay. And just put it there like an ultimatum, because it's like, what am I supposed to do? 2 years, that's a long time, man. That's a jail sentence.
It's true. It's true.
That's a jail sentence, because you're walking past somebody that you are still attracted to, still love and care, and nothing. You know, you're trying to touch and they're refusing the touch, or no hugging, no kissing, no warmth. So yeah, that's trying. To me, that's trying.
Okay, thank you, Theo. Angela Cozier says, right, Theo. We've got some people who agree.
Can I just say, on the back of what Theo's just said, it's a jail sentence if you haven't had sex for 2 years. I mean, You know, there's a lot of women out there who haven't, or men even, who haven't had sex for 2 years.
Tony, for me, not talk about anybody else. The question was directed at me, and I'm answering as me.
So
2 years. That's a death sentence for me. Some people can go for 5 years.
But the other thing is, if they're single, then if they're single,
yeah,
you know,
it's a different thing because they're going to be on.
You're living in the house with somebody who you're still attracted to. That's a different thing to if you're single and not having sex for 2 years. Totally different, Tony. You can't make. You have to distinguish.
You know, look. There are, back in our grandparents' generation, there were people who would live together with their partner in different rooms.
But that was a choice that both of them came to. But this is what this lady's saying is this is not her choice.
Okay.
She got married.
So I'm still trying to delve into this situation.
Yeah.
What's the situation?
1 minute, Tony. The question. You're avoiding the answer to the question, Tony.
Hang on, but this is all part and part. We're jumping to conclusions.
No,
again.
Tony. Stop. The question is directed at us. Not forget the letter. Forget the letter. The question is, what would you do if your partner is gone off you for the last 2 years? What would you do? Forget the letter. The letter is not the part.
So what's the situation with the children?
No, Tony. The question is directed at you.
No, Tony.
You're skirting around the question, my brother. You're skirting around it. I'm asking you a direct question. I'm asking Tony Cox.
Yeah.
Please, can you answer my question? Is what would you do, Tony Cox, if your wife or your partner that you live with, been with for the last 11 years,
I get it,
has gone off you for the last no sex for the last 2 years? What would you do?
Yeah.
That's the question. Forget everything else.
I need to know the full ins and outs of the situation.
That is the full ins and outs of the situation. Your wife or your partner doesn't want to sleep with you. Doesn't want to touch you. That's it. Everything else is fine. Everything else is fine. But there's no intimacy. That's the question.
Okay, but I need to know the full ins and outs of the relationship.
You've got
it's your relationship. Your relationship.
You're making it harder than what it is.
It's your relationship. There's no other relationship. Everything else is fine. The bills are paid. The kids are in school.
Yeah.
The kids are in school. You lot talk. You lot have a laugh. But when it comes to nighttime, there's nothing. Okay. There's no hugging, no kissing, no nothing for 2 years. There's nothing going on for 2 years.
Sex for 2 years, and I haven't been able to have that chat. I'm throwing the whole thing out the door. Gone. Here's the divorce letter. Thank you. Bye.
That's all I wanted, brother. That's all I've been waiting for.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
We got there. Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
Hang on, that's not my answer.
Huh?
I'm asking you. Is that the answer?
It's what you would do.
What your answer is, Tony. Your answer. Tony's getting around the question.
I haven't got enough information to answer the question.
All right then.
All right, brother.
Right. So Rena Olivia says, answer the question, Tony, or stop commenting. Tony does not get the point.
Have you put on any weight since we
What's that got to do with it?
My attraction to yourself.
No, Tony. You are still attracted to your wife or your partner. She's not attracted to you anymore.
To you.
She doesn't want to sleep with you anymore.
What would you do if your partner
partner doesn't want to sleep with you anymore? She doesn't want to touch you.
It's true.
Okay. What I'm going to say is, I need to know, what am I doing wrong?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have I gained weight?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer to that question.
I said okay.
No, everything is the same. Everything is the same. Nothing. You haven't gained weight.
You didn't say that though. That's not an answer in the question.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, because we're actually going around in circles, and the show needs to move on. So we're going to keep this moving.
This was going to be a short show.
No, it was
no. It's not that short. You're just not answering the question, my brother. That's the first question for the night.
There's other questions.
That's the first question, and you're not even answering it.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring in Michelle and Herbie. Right. The first question, and this is how she starts. Actually, what would you do if your partner showed no interest in you sexually? Now, you guys, she says she's been married for 11 years. You guys have been married for 30 odd years, nearly 40 years, right? So what would you do? I mean, you could. I'd like the answer separately from a male perspective and from a female perspective. What would you do?
Right. Well. Okay. So, on a male perspective, yeah, it's in reverse role. You're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be myself. I'm in a relationship for 11 years, and you're not attracted to me. Well, I like Theo was saying, I have to ask the questions. What's going on? Why? I mean, you have to talk. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, probably after even a month, 2 months. You know what I mean? I'll be asking questions. I wouldn't wait, 2.5 years. I mean, 2.5 years. That's you're dead and gone. You tell the truth, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because the relationship's gone. So, yeah, after a certain amount of time, because we have a sort of like a rhythm. You know what I mean? A cycle, a season. You know what I mean? So if them season gone through a certain season, and I'm thinking, hold on a second, what's happening? You know what I mean? There's a planting, there's a reaping, you know what I mean? And it's a long time's going on. And I'll be asking like, what's happening here? You know what I mean? If I missed out on something. And if the conversation goes, well, I don't want to have sex with you anymore, I'll be saying, well, what's going to happen? Where's the future in this? Because this can't go on for eternity. And obviously, if it's after 2.5 years, then it's like it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's already set in. So then again, it'll be a decision to make whether I stay in a relationship or not. The likelihood is, if I was if I was in this position of a woman and my sex drive is high and I get frustrated, then it's about having something going on. But yeah, that's it really.
So you're saying that you go, Herbie? You would.
Yeah. I wouldn't hang around, especially if there's not a reasonable explanation. There's nothing. I can't see nothing really going on. You know what I mean? It's like, if it's a physical thing or something's happened, then you hold on. You know what I mean? Because it could be sickness. You know what I'm saying? But if I can see it's just like you're just not interested anymore, then it's like, well, to me that's not really. That doesn't warrant. What I mean, stay in a relationship if you're just not interested. But if it's a biological thing that's going on, then we can probably talk and just sort of see how it goes. But
I think the same as well, Yvonne. I think it will be from the get-go when you sort of start noticing certain things, to have that conversation, see what's happening, see how we can work together. No blaming, just to see how things are going. Medical reasons, go through certain steps to ensure that everything is all right, and if it is you're no longer attracted to each other or to him, then cut him loose, allow him to live his life, and allow yourself to live your life, as hard and as difficult as it can be. Because I think if you can in one way or another remain amicable where possible, then do so. But I think I would definitely, I wouldn't go out and sleep with somebody else or to just meet that need. I would have to go through the steps and then take it from there, but cut him loose.
Okay, thank you for that.
That's made me feel quite emotional, actually.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're
not cutting him loose, though. We're holding on to him. We're not cutting him loose.
Yeah, but this is a thing that you spend so much time with your partner, and like it's been said, it's for better, for worse. Someone else said, well, how long do you put up with worse? But when you are in a loving relationship, it is about, and I'm a divorcee, let me just say that, but it is about trying to work things out. And obviously I feel like this woman is trying to make this thing work, because she said they've been married for 11 years, and 2.5 years out of those 11 years, there's been no intimacy. Now, sex is one thing, intimacy is another. They come hand in hand, but they are two completely different things. And she says there is no intimacy, there's no touching, there's no, there's no kissing, there's no flirting, there's no any of that. So there is a bigger, wider problem here, as far as I'm concerned. But she does go on to say, because which we will talk about a bit later on in the show, she does go on to say that she wants, later on in the letter, she does want to work it out with her husband. She doesn't want, she doesn't want the relationship to end. Everything is okay in terms of how they are. The fact of the matter is they are like roommates. So how do you overcome that? One of the questions that she said was, what would you do to keep your partner interested in you? So she's clearly asking for our opinion because she doesn't want to leave. She has mentioned she's thinking about going forth and being with somebody else, and having that part of the relationship fulfilled by somebody else, and having that conversation with her husband as well. So I want us to really be mindful and thoughtful about this. I know Tony's been saying, we need more information, but actually there's a lot of information in here. Those things that you're asking, those things. How old is she? She said he's slightly older than her. She's 49.
So he's 50 something.
He's 50 something. I'd say early 50s. She said he's not that much older than her. So
menopause.
Is she in the menopause or is he?
No, male menopause.
Okay. And what are the symptoms of male menopause, Tony?
Like a sex drive.
There is no sex at all. But there's also, remember, there's no intimacy either.
Mm.
So it's not just about the act of intercourse. It's more than that. So we have to...
She can't get a kiss from him?
Nothing. They're like roommates. That's what she says.
But they're still sleeping in the same bed.
They still sleep in the same bed because she has said that she watched the sex toy show and brought some toys and has used the toys and invited him to use the toys with her, and he has shown no interest whatsoever.
Okay.
She's broke. She is broken. She is broken. Without, and I would have to say this, being a female, a woman myself, and how I am, that would break me. To be with a man and be laying down with him every night, and because she has said, she lingerie, she's tried several things and she's just been rejected all the time. So what would you do if your partner was doing that? What would you do?
Yvonne, there's a comment from Nevado Cato.
Yes, I've written that down. Yeah, can we bring that up?
Yeah,
is that the one about the ex-wife?
The ex-husband. Yeah. So my ex was married 12 years, 3 sons, including my son. Her husband didn't touch her for a long while. Then she discovered apparently he goes out at the weekends dressed up in women's clothes. She then asked him what's going on. He told her he no longer wants to be a male. She handled this for a while, hoping he would change, but he didn't. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Maybe that's what this guy's doing, man.
This is reality. This could be it.
This is serious stuff, man.
It was the man could have turned.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what's the solution? Yeah. Has she tried porn?
She said she's tried. She's tried.
I don't think that's going to do anything.
Porn is not going to do anything because the intimacy is not there.
Not intimacy. That's a big one.
That's far deeper than the sex.
There is a deeper problem here. I do believe that there is a deeper problem here.
You might need a private investigator to see what he's doing. He's up to. He might be up to something.
I would say so. I'd say so.
He might be up to something.
Something doesn't sound right.
But it don't seem quite normal for a man just to cut off like that.
See, the thing is,
and not even showing any intimacy or nothing. It don't sound too right.
You know, we can't
Well, it
judge
don't sound right
each other.
if you don't know there's a medical issue. So if there's a medical issue, it sounds right, bang, just like that.
Yeah, but Tony, if there's a medical issue, why wouldn't he not say something? Why keep it to himself?
Do you know men that freely give up medical information?
But Tony, if it's gonna come at the jeopardy of your relationship, you're gonna jeopardize your relationship to keep.
He don't know that.
He must know that. 2
Well, he
years.
must know that. If he
His
not-
wife's
if he not- he
wife's
must know
talking
that.
to him. Come on.
If
He
you
does know that.
Come on. Your partner gives you your partner nags you for not putting the bin out. Come on.
you know,
Come on, man.
it's true.
You're gonna get nagged for not putting the bin out. Come on. She's gonna be on his case for 2 years. Come on. And you're not keeping
for
that
2
secret.
years. And she says that he says she's nagging him.
Yeah,
Remember,
come on.
she said that. She said he says that she nags him, and she asks us the question: how can she be nagging her own husband to make love to her?
Come on.
That's what
and he's gonna just sit there and keep that to himself.
Nothing.
Come on, man.
No.
You're gonna keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
I've
Either he's
got a medical
checked out,
problem.
either he's checked out, or the thing is, if he's not prepared to address the issue with her, this is 2 years on now. I mean, as Herbie and Michelle said, nobody ain't waiting 2 years for that. That's a long period
That's
of time.
a long time, man.
He's been very patient with him, and if he's not prepared to sort this issue out with her, then he's checked out. He's checked out of everything. I don't care that they're friends. I don't care that they live in the same house, sleep in the same bed. He's checked out from this relationship. If you're not prepared after 2 years,
Assumption.
come on.
Assumption.
That's
Okay.
it's not an assumption.
Okay.
He's definitely
It's an
not,
opinion.
he's definitely
It's
not
not an
checked in.
assumption.
He's not
It's not an
checked in.
It's not an
assumption.
assumption, Tony.
It's an
That's not an
opinion.
assumption.
You are
Remember,
making an assumption.
the person who wrote this is watching the show, so I'm assuming that they're watching, or they'll watch it on catch up, but they know that the show is going to be aired, and so they've given the information that they want us to have, and that's what we've got to go by. Jazz Funk Sue, can we put that comment back up?
You never get the full information in any situation, Tony.
No.
So you're looking for the full picture of everything. Even when you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor your symptoms, some people hold stuff back. They don't tell the doctor everything.
The doctor-
The doctor will prescribe it on what you said to them. So you're saying I want the full picture. That's not.
You can't have
that
it.
is the full picture. That is the full picture.
Jazz Funk Sue, please. Thank
You're
very
looking
much.
for more.
Okay, I want a comment that comes up. My last partner said he wasn't attracted to me anymore. On that note, we had a split. You can't force it. So, and this is what's coming. Loretta says the reality is that her partner is no longer interested in her, but he's comfortable and doesn't want to leave. He's either severely depressed or building life elsewhere. That is I think that's a fair enough synopsis there. Yabba says, I agree with Tony in a way. The fear of the unknown. He will not seek help. I can easily see a man doing that. Well, we've had this before in the show. I've mentioned a friend of mine. Tony Cox, your volume's low tonight. Gina's saying. A friend of mine who is married and is still married was having issues with his erection. And he came and he spoke to me about it. My thing was, why are you talking to me and not your wife? And he felt embarrassed. I sent him back to his wife and told him to talk to your wife. As he spoke to his wife, she immediately made an appointment at the doctor's, and he had some tests done and found out that he was diabetic. And now there is no problem. They're happily married. They're doing what they do. So with men, yes, they will not talk to everybody, but they will find somebody to talk to. And so, he's not talking to her because what she's saying is that he's shut down. And what she's asking is how to overcome, she wants to get through to her husband. Her last resort is actually finding someone else. And I do believe that somebody else is interested. Another married person in a similar situation. However, that's not what she wants ultimately. What she wants is to work this out with her husband. So she's come to us asking us, what would we do? And so this is I know what I would do, but I'm going to leave that till a bit later on in the show. I want to know what you guys would do. With you guys, Michelle and Herbie have been married for 30 odd years. Theo's been married for 17, is it 17, something like that,
15,
years?
15.
15 years. Tony, you've been married twice. Faye, you've been married. I've been married. We've all been married. So we've all had hardships in our marriage. What would you do? Come on, let's help this lady out, man. This is what the After Dark show is about. We're going in. Yes, every week can't be funny. Some weeks have to be serious. This lady is in a serious dilemma. So let's help her. So the DJ Super Me says, although symptoms may vary from person to person, common symptoms of men going through andropause includes low sex drive, difficulty getting erection, or that it's not as strong as usual, lack of energy, depression, irritability and mood swings, loss of strength or muscle mass, increased body fat, hot flushes. So he's basically having the same symptoms. Tony, stop clicking because it's annoying. If you're going to click, turn your camera, your thingy off. Put it on mute.
Mike.
So, yeah, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is this andropause is basically the same as menopause, only that men have it. Basically, that's what you're saying.
And that still doesn't mean he can't talk. If you're going through that, you still say something. It's not like you're talking to your friends. You're talking to your wife. You know, someone that you're going to be with, that you've made a decision to be. So if you can't speak to your wife, who sees you in all situations, when you're down, when you're up, you're happy, sad, when you've lost everything, and you're sitting there in your bed, and you can't just say to her, you know what, she's nagging in your ears. Now, I don't know about most people, but women nagging is not the one. Especially when your wife's on your case, it gets annoying. So if she's going to be nagging you for nearly 2 years, and you can't just turn and say, I don't feel well, or I'm upset, or I'm depressed, or I'm tired, that's on him, man. Something's wrong with him.
So Theo, you're saying that like you're talking to the man, but the problem is you ain't talking to the man, you're talking to the woman. What does she have to do? Because we know men ain't talking. Men don't talk about sexual.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Men don't talk. So what she should do, what I'm going to tell her to do, give him an ultimatum, and that's it. Give him an ultimatum. That's it.
After 11 years.
Well, he's not giving her any choice because he's not talking.
And kids, but everything
doesn't matter. He's not talking, my brother. He's not talking. So how long? So Tony, how long should she wait then? What, the next 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? Because men don't talk.
What you haven't said, Theo, is what should she do to get the stimulation of the conversation going? Yeah,
she's spoken to him about it. She's done all that. Well, you tell her then, Tony. Seeing that you're the man that doesn't talk.
You're the negotiator, Mr. Man.
I'm not the negotiator. I said to her, give him ultimatum.
Tony, she's asking the question, so give her the advice. If you think
you're telling her to stimulate the conversation.
She's asking the question.
So this is the advice this is the advice I'm going with. Yeah.
What's the advice? I haven't heard it yet.
What's the advice?
Don't listen to people telling you walk away. You've got to find a way.
Nobody has said walk away.
Yeah, but what is the way? What is the way?
What did she say?
What would you do, Tony?
Okay, so this is the advice for the woman.
Yeah, tell her what she must say.
She needs to find a way to have the conversation with the man. She's having a communication breakdown issue.
But she said she's tried that. It doesn't work, Tony. Give her something else to do. Because she's already said that she's done that. And she's done it to the point where he's saying that she's nagging him. Okay. So what else can you think of?
So unless you break that communication issue, what's going to happen? You're going to walk out the door.
Right. Tony, you know
one option.
Which is what Theo said. So give her an ultimatum and leave. That's exactly what Theo said.
Communication, walk out the door. That's what it sounds like you're saying to tell her. And I'm saying,
yeah, but what are you saying? What are you saying, Tony?
I'm saying do not give up your 11 years of marriage,
right?
Because your relationship has broke down over sex. One eighth of your relationship. Yeah. Okay. What I'm saying to the woman is, despite the fact that he's telling you you're nagging him, something has gone wrong in the communication that you're unable to sit down with him and have a conversation about health, you know, the issues he may be having,
Right.
in having any form of sexual attraction.
But she has a communication problem. He's got the communication problem. She hasn't got the communication problem. She's trying to communicate. She's trying to communicate. So her communication is not. Sorry.
Okay. Do you know what?
Out the door then.
Do you know what? Do I need to read the letter again? Did you hear the letter?
I heard the letter.
I think the letter is very, very clear. Right? It's very, very, hold on, Tony. It's very clear. We're going round in circles and we do not need to. We're making points that are not relevant. The lady is at her wit's end. She's been married for 11 years. 2.5 years out of that marriage, she has had no intimacy, no sex, no touching, no kissing, no flirting, no nothing in those 2 years. They get on well as a man and a woman living in a house. But she wants more than that. She wants to have a husband. She wants to be touched. She doesn't want to be rejected because her husband, she said, she has laid down with him, she has said, and has got toys. She listened to the show, she bought toys, all of that, and he does not pay her any mind.
Right.
So therefore, she's asking, what would we do? What would we do in this situation? She's at her wit's end. She's frustrated. She's got endorphins running all over her body. She's 49, so she's probably going into her perimenopausal years as well. So I'm just going to create the picture so that you can get an idea of what this is, so we don't have to keep going over this again and again and again. All right? So all of these things are all in. He may be going through andropause as well. He could be. She's got her own hormones going on with, but she's trying to work it out with the man that she loves, the man that she made the commitment to, the man that she said I do to for better, for work, sickness and health, till death do us part. That's what she wants. So what do we tell her?
All right. So this is maybe where some of the women here are getting a little bit flustered.
Not really.
I'm saying,
really? No one's flustered. You are. Don't
I'm not.
Don't project that on us. That's you.
That's you. Because you're not answering the question.
Hear what I'm going to say then.
Don't say we're getting
flustered. Look.
It's rude.
All right. You calm down now?
Don't patronize me.
Very heated.
Don't patronize me.
Tony. There's no need for that.
Did you talk about marriage guidance?
Yes, she did. She did. She said that. She mentioned it to him already. He said he wasn't interested.
Wasn't listening because she talked about all of the things that she's done. Marriage guidance being the very first thing.
So you've decided it's done. It's finished.
In my opinion.
No. Hold on, Tony. Tony. Tony.
If it was me,
you made your own decision.
Tony, you haven't. Tony, you said we must give advice. We've given advice. You haven't given any advice. You just said she needs to break the communication. How does she break the communication to get through to a man that doesn't talk? So you tell her what she needs to say. No, you tell her what she needs to say. I don't know.
You said.
So you tell her. That's what you said. Huh?
You're a pastor, my brother.
No, I've told you what I would do, Tony. I've said what I would do. I've told her. I said, give him an ultimatum. You said, this is what you said. She needs to break down the communication, and I'm asking you, how does she do that? How does she break down the communication with a man that doesn't talk? So you explain that to her.
So I'm gonna say there's lots of ways, but I mean,
give her two. Give her at least two. Give her two.
Send him a letter.
Send him a letter.
Ask a friend. Ask a mutual friend to have a conversation with him.
But take it outside of the house.
To bring it outside to let friends that he hasn't slept with his wife for 2 years. No, I'm asking you.
Okay.
All right.
So
that's your opinion.
What you're saying is,
that's your opinion.
Give it up rather than even try. Ask a friend.
Yeah, but why? If he's not talking to his own missus, why would he talk to a friend about that?
Because
would you talk to a friend about that? Yeah, but come on. She's been trying to talk to him for the last 2 years.
Oh,
why would he now go?
All right, can I? Let me ask Tony a question because Tony's gone.
I'm going to ask a timeout. Go back to Yabba's last. Right. Yabba's last question was, how do they have a friendship if he doesn't talk? I thought what friends do is talk. She says she in her letter, and I might have left that part out. They do talk. They talk about other things. But as soon as she talks about this, he shuts down. As soon. He will not talk. So they do have a relationship. This is why she doesn't want to leave her husband. She's made that very clear. She wants to work this out. She's like, you've got men on your platform. What is going on? Because she's tried the counselling. She's tried the doctor. She's tried talking to him, but nothing seems to work. So, you know, this is why she's now come here anonymously to see what else. Because my girl's in a desperate place. She is. You know, if you put yourself in her position, anybody that's got feelings and emotions and likes to have sex, put yourself in her position and think about how you would feel and what you would do. That's all. That's what she's asking us to do. Can we advise her? Can we give her some knowledge? He may, right, so Dr. Phil says, go back to Dr. Phil. Please, thank you very much. He may have physical issue and not know how to voice it, which is true. That is true. Yeah. But you have to find after a period of time. As I said, men may not talk, but they do talk to somebody. I don't care what you say as men. You may not feel comfortable talking out to everybody, but there is somebody that you will find that you can talk to. Everybody has something, because no man is an island. I don't care what you say.
There is someone, normally someone. If I'm in that position that I'm feeling, boy, I'm not feeling attracted to my wife, things now work in the manhood section, I'll be frightened, and I'm going to talk to somebody about it and say, boy, what can I do with this? Because obviously I can see if this carries on, that something could happen down the road. So for me, if I'm in a relationship and I'm seeing my wife's trying, she's doing all sorts of things, and I physically am not attractive, physically nothing's happening, when these things are happening, I'll be frightened and I'll be talking, because I'll be knowing that something ain't right with me, because that's not me. So the man, if he don't want to chat, well, I don't know. Unless he's doing, I suspect that he's on the next thing, on a down low or something, because boy, he don't sound too right to me. But that's me.
Okay. Somebody said, I think was it Therapeutic Melanin said, I think, the husband has put his wife in the friend zone. And Veronica Trotman says, why would you think he put her in the friend zone? It's possible. It's possible. 21 people in the place hit that bottom button, y'all. I don't understand.
It's a
like button.
It's a YouTube thing.
Oh, okay. Hit the button, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I want to welcome those of you who are on YouTube, those who are on Facebook. The conversation is getting heated within the panel. We don't seem to be able to agree. Is he working, coming home late? She doesn't say, Anthony McGregor. She doesn't say what his work practices are.
You know what? Everybody's speculating what the man should be doing, or what the man is, and this. But the thing is, I know men don't like to talk if they've got a problem in the bedroom. It's very rare, and men don't want to talk to their brethren if they don't want to talk about the problem in the bedroom. But the one thing a man will talk to at the end of the day, after a year and a half, 2 years, he's going to have to talk to his wife, because as Herbie said, he's going to see there's going to be a problem, and this is going to become a problem because my wife is not happy. So he has to now make a decision, talk to his wife, go to the doctors, do something. But after 2 years of not doing anything, it's all on him, really. I don't care if a man don't talk. That's on him. That's just him being lazy. If he's got a medical problem and he doesn't want to go get it checked out, that's just him being lazy. He's actually not interested in his wife anymore, because her needs or her importance or her heart is not his issue anymore. But most husbands, we put our wife first. We want our wife to be happy.
But her, Theo, you're clearly missing the point. He is satisfying her some way because she clearly wants to stay with him.
Because he's a good man. She still loves him, but
you hear what you just said?
Yes, but Tony, listen. He obviously doesn't still love her.
He doesn't love her.
He doesn't still love her. She loves him.
There's no intimacy.
I don't believe
Tony, but listen to what I'm trying to say to you.
Do you know what? Go on.
No intimacy in a relationship. That's saying something. That's a friend.
I can't love a woman if I don't have sex with her.
Huh?
You can't.
Sorry? Love a woman if I don't have sex with her.
You can't.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that.
No.
I'm saying there's no intimacy. There's no touching, no hugging, no kissing, no nothing. It's just a friend. So she has become a female friend that happens to sleep in the same house. She might as well live down the road. She might as well live down the road then. It doesn't make a difference if she's in the same house as him, because he's not actually showing any form of affection.
Okay, let me just interject here. Let me just hold on, Tony, hold on. Let me just. There's a message here. Men are built to love the physical. If it's not working, they feel ashamed, fearful, and some even believe that as soon as it is tabled, he fears that the wife will leave. Counselling is required with the right person who can help the walls to be broken down.
Boom!
Absolutely.
But he doesn't. But Tony, he doesn't want to do counselling. He doesn't want to do counselling.
And one of the things that I'd like to interject and say, is, I know that you say that men don't like to talk and blah, blah, blah. Do you know what? That's an excuse. I'm sorry. It's an excuse. Because at the end of the day, when you are in a relationship with somebody, you're in a partnership, and you're supposed to care about how the other one feels. Right? And if you are in love, you're supposed to care about how your partner feels in everything. Right? In everything. And you're not always going to agree, but sometimes you agree to disagree. Sometimes you have to compromise. That's what marriage is about. So if this is, she's saying to him, babes, I want to be intimate with you. I want to be with you. I want to be so deeply incensed with you. What is the problem? Even if the man can't get an erection, there's other things a man can do. There's other ways of being intimate in a relationship. It doesn't have to be intercourse. We're big people. We know this. So
you just bring up the comment by Veronica. Go back to the comment by Veronica Trotman, your good friend.
All right, calm down. My thing is, I think that we have to get beyond this. Oh well, men don't like to talk. That is an excuse.
He's a 50-plus-year-old man. He's not able to talk by now, man.
Okay, so let's go to I want the comment from Veronica, and then we'll go to Anne Louise Stevenson one. So Veronica's one that is nonsense. Love is not built on sex.
Saying that. Nobody said
that.
No one said that.
Nobody said that.
That's what it sounds like you're saying.
No, it's not.
I think Tony was saying that.
Somebody write that.
No, you're making assumptions.
You're saying that, Tony.
Tony,
that's what you're saying.
Nobody has actually said that. We said that he possibly is not in love with her. He will still love her because they're still in the same house and they still have a love for each other. Or he definitely has a love for her. He's still there. But being in love is different to loving somebody, okay? And the things you will do to somebody that you're in love with are totally different from what you do for things that you love.
Tony, I've got lots of female friends that I love. But I'm not intimate with them.
Exactly.
So I'm not intimate with them. I'm not that way inclined with them. So
and you're not in love with them.
I'm not in love with them. So that's the same as this man and this wife. You know what it is, Tony? What I'm trying to get at is, as Yvonne said, we're grown men. Mm-hmm. If you're not talking in the age of 50, you're ashamed to talk in your 50s. You need to grow
Men
up,
are
man. We
like
need to
that.
grow up. Men need to grow
Theo,
up. That's what I'm going to say. Men
Theo,
need to grow up.
Theo.
If you've got a problem, there's a doctors. If you're not
Theo.
feeling well, you go
Yeah.
to the doctors. You
Theo.
can't sit in your house with your
Theo.
wife and your family and be miserable. Come on. That's
Theo,
50 something.
Yeah.
50 something.
Okay.
I don't buy it. I'm
I
not 50 something. I don't buy that one. I don't.
I understand what you're saying, brother.
Come on,
All
we're
I'm
grown
saying
men.
is,
If something was
got
wrong
it
with you,
wrong.
Tony, would you go to the doctors?
You got it wrong. Listen, I bust my mouth, I broke my arm, and tell you what, sometimes I don't go to the doctor.
That's fine. But for 2 years, your
I'm
wife's
the man
been
who
nagging you.
Last week told you I have a yearly checkup of everything.
It's like me.
But that's recent.
What I'm trying to say
there are
is,
still men around. There are
Yeah.
still men.
It's just an excuse, though, Tony. I don't
Don't me off.
take that. It's just an
Listen
excuse.
to what I am saying.
I
Don't
heard
cut
what
me
you're
off.
saying.
Yes.
I heard what
So
you're
there
saying.
are
There's
still
still men who
men-
don't want to talk. Then don't talk, and then you'll lose your marriage.
in their
End of.
40s.
That's the
Why are
result.
you talking me for?
Losing a marriage. A lot of men with divorces lose their life.
They lose their life.
They don't chat.
No,
You know
Tony, just the same thing over again. You're not coming with anything new on this occasion.
All
Right, so
All right.
on this occasion, you normally have great talk, but today, no. Right, so she has said, I'm going to move the conversation on because we're going round in circles. She says, she asks a question. She says, before I get to there, she says that she's even considering having somebody else just to fulfill her needs and discussing that with her husband. What do we think of that? I think Theo touched on that already in terms of saying, if I think if a husband doesn't want to take responsibility for his actions, and that's how I see it, the breakdown of him not speaking is not taking responsibility for his part in the marriage. That's how I see it, plain and simple. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Well, maybe they might, but I do think it is down to responsibility, and he's not taking responsibility for his part in their relationship. So therefore she's saying, okay, so if you don't want to do this part, then I will go out and I'll find someone who will fulfill me here with your permission. And she's like asking, what do we think of that? Because that's where she's at. That's where her husband is tipping her. She doesn't want to leave her husband, quite clearly. That got a long time. But she doesn't. Some people are just saying they don't want their marriage to end. So what would you do?
I wouldn't agree with you going and having an affair, because that's what it sounds like. I mean, she needs to leave and separate from her husband. But I wouldn't sort of like say, well, listen, something, I'm going to go elsewhere, because you're bringing somebody else in now into the mix. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just personally, I wouldn't go to have an affair route. But yeah, definitely have the discussion with him of what should we do. Just sort of like, I've been given an ultimatum. What should we do? I need to do something, like today, this week, something that needs to happen. You know what I mean? It's been 2.5 years. Give an ultimatum and say, well, if nothing's happening, I want to.
This is what I need.
Yeah, this, we'd have to just go. I don't want to have an affair, but I would separate from you or divorce you, or whatever, and go and do what I need to do.
As much as it was.
Yeah, polyandry. That's what she's bringing into the relationship.
I think it's not. I disagree that it's an affair, because if they've had a discussion about it and he's happy for her to go and do that, then that's not an affair. That's a consensual thing. I generally think that affair is something that you do start behind somebody's back. So the thing is, if she's upfront about what she's doing, then I don't constitute that as an affair. There might be a financial reason why they can't split or whatever. So I think the thing is, there are lots of people in the world that live separate lives within the same household and have relationships outside of that. So we don't know, as I say, we don't know if there's a financial reason why they're not splitting, why they can't split or whatever, but it's a discussion. He might be happy to for her to go and get that somewhere else. If he's not happy, then she may have to consider whether the marriage is still worth fighting for and then separate. And it's a consideration. It's not, these things are the last resort, but it sounds to me like she's at the 2 years is a very, very long time for not knowing the reason why somebody doesn't want to be intimate with you. Forget the sex, or somebody doesn't want to be intimate with you. For me, I would take that as a rejection, and I would be rejected. If I'm feeling rejected, I'll be feeling like, okay, I need to get to I'm already thinking I want to get attention somewhere else. And the slightest little bit of attention that I'm getting somewhere else may even draw me there. But, for me personally, if somebody's not being intimate with me, I would find that difficult to manage.
Okay, thank you for that, Faye. There was a message from Nevada there about if he was. Can we just go back to that and then we can move forward? And now I want is that the one? They are married. I wouldn't accept my wife going elsewhere. They come home to tell me what they got up to. I think that's a discussion that you would have, that they would have, wouldn't they? I don't know what the conversation would be like. And there's another comment from Karen Eastman that I saw, quite a long comment from Karen Eastman, if you could pop that back up for me. She said, the thing about men not talking is madness. When my husband stopped talking to me, he was talking to his buddy. So they find some outlet, and guess what? His buddy is now his wife. From you can't talk to me, I'm done. It's gaslighting and immature. Thank you, Karen Eastman, for your comment. The DJ Superme says polyandry, in which a woman has more than one husband, compared with polygamy. Thank you very much, the DJ Superme. Flipper Franklin says he might only show interest if she did that, but it wouldn't be genuine. It's very true. Debbie Blake says they're not bringing anybody else into the mix. It's not a threesome. She would be choosing to basically go out and satisfy herself. Kellyanne Ross says, hold on, go back to Kellyanne Ross. I just saw that one come up. Kellyanne Ross says a marriage or partnership cannot work if there is a communication breakdown. Janice Bell says, irrespective of consent or not, it is, you've moved it too quick. Oh, there. Okay, it's fine. Irrespective of consent is not. That's moving it too quick. Right, thank you. Irrespective of consent or not, it is defiling the marriage bed and will only end badly. Thank you, Janice Bell. Right, and Anthony McGregor says it sounds like entanglement is coming soon.
You're right.
I think there are two options here, isn't there, really, in terms of what she's asking, because she can go outside if her husband's not showing any kind of interest in her intimately. She can go out and do her own thing without him knowing. He wouldn't know. They're not sleeping together anyway. They're not having sex, so she could go out and she could do that, or she could bring it to his attention and say, right, you're not prepared to do this. You're not prepared to talk. You're not prepared to go counselling. You're not prepared to do any of the things that I've tried to suggest to you. So this is what I'm going to do, and I want your consent to it. Okay, so Dr. Phil is here again. I'm going to read this out and then I'm going to put it back onto the panel. Dr. Phil says, the wife is not without choice, neither is the man. If he was in a coma for 3 years, would she leave? Right?
Different situation though, isn't it?
Different. That's different.
Right. And I'm pausing here.
That's totally different.
That's a complete different. That's a different whole different ballgame.
Different thing.
That's
Actually,
a
no.
The fact that the man's in a coma.
Totally different.
So if a man, see, the thing is, the man is in a coma, he's fighting for his life. It's a whole different emotion. It's a whole different thing. But I'm going with it. We're going with it, right? So I paused for a reason because I knew that there was going to be more coming out, right? So we nurse the man back to life and vice versa. We are in it for the long haul. I agree, it's not easy because Netflix paints the picture that wham bam thank you ma'am is on tap and never fails. It is hard to get to the bottom of it without hearing from both parties, which is where I would love to start. Seeking love outside of the marriage represents divorce. Keep trying, my sister. And this is, the thing is that the writer here, the person who has written in, has made it clear that she does not want to give up on her marriage. That has been made very, very clear. So I agree. So thank you, Dr. Phil, for answering that question, because she had said that's what she's thinking of doing. I don't necessarily get the linking of the man in the coma, though, that scenario. But I do agree of sorts with what Dr. Phil is saying in terms of that keep trying and find another way, not to necessarily find a new man.
But I hear you. I hear what Dr. Phil's saying. I actually know Phil. How you doing, sir? You're good. But I think Phil's missing out the one bit, and everyone's harping on about the sex. Sex is not the issue. It's the intimacy she's missing.
Yeah. So
she keeps trying, but she's tried. So she's come here, and I'm still waiting for Tony to answer. I'm waiting for you to answer because you said to give her advice, and you haven't given any advice, my brother. You're clapping and giving thumbs up, but you haven't given any advice. We've given advice. I said, for me as a man, if you give me an ultimatum, I have a choice to make, isn't it? So I've said to her, give him an ultimatum. It could be next year, the ultimatum. It could be in 3 years' time, but give it a time limit, because how long does she keep trying? You said break down the communication barrier, but you haven't told her how to break down the communication barrier. She's tried. She's been trying for 2 years to try and break it down.
And adding to what you were saying as well, Theo, and what the doctor was saying, Herbie said the same thing. He said if it's a medical reason, and whatever that medical reason may be, then you're there. But if it's not, and he's just not attracted to you and all those sort of things,
talk it.
Do you know what I mean? What do you do?
Stay together.
Tell us at least the wife knows what's going on. She needs to know what's going on. You're not saying anything. That's not helping, is it? Just saying, oh, man doesn't talk, but we talk about everything else. We talk about everything else, but then now we're going to talk about the intimacy in our relationship. You want to put the shutters down. Yeah. Come on, talk. And if the man is watching, talk. Or talk to your friend, or go to the doctors. If there's a medical reason and you're scared to find out what it is, talk, because it's better than it just hitting you one day and you're crippled in this chair. She doesn't even know. Talk. Come on. So give her some advice, Tony, how she breaks down, because I don't know. To me, what works for me, you give me an ultimatum. Give me an ultimatum. It's like a deadline, isn't it? You've got 3 years to talk to me about the situation, or 2 years, whatever. Then at least I know, okay.
Brother, I'm tired of talking. You're not listening to what I've said.
You haven't said anything.
The man just wrote it down, and Yvonne just read it out verbatim, what I've been saying.
But he didn't say anything. He said to keep trying. What did he say?
Somebody in a coma.
What did he say? What did he say? He said keep trying. Keep trying what? That's the question.
For how long?
And for how long? For the next 10 years?
You got to remember that behavior is a thing that causes reactions, right? And this lady has been trying and has been rejected time and time and time again. This is not good for her. And to be quite clear and quite candid and be open, what he's doing isn't kind. It isn't nice. It isn't loving. It isn't caring. It isn't any of those things. So in terms of him not talking, actually, he's quite selfish. Very, very selfish, as a matter of fact. Because and when you get married, when you get married, you are supposed to become one. Yes, I know people don't want to talk, and sometimes it's difficult to talk. But you know what? After a while, you have to overcome that. You can't keep using the same excuse. Oh, men don't talk. Then you might have nothing. And deal with that. A simple thing to solve the situation would be for him to talk. That would be the easiest solution. It would be. And the thing is, it's not even a reflection on her. It's him. That would be the easiest solution for this whole thing. It would be for, and what she wants to know is, how would we get, what tools would we use to get him to talk? Theo has said he would give an ultimatum. That was Theo. That's what Theo has said. That's the number one thing. So that's the advice that he's given. Faye, what Faye is saying? What did you say? Leave?
No,
Faye said go out a road. Faye's a gangster. Faye said go out a road.
Listen, it's a
which is what she's thinking. She's female. Her and Faye are on the same wavelength.
Listen, it's a conversation, and if you don't want to engage with conversation with me, I have to do what's right for me. And that's it, period. If you're devoid of that, how much more do I need to talk to you? For 2 years, I'm talking to you, I'm nagging you, I'm putting lingerie on, I'm using sex toys, I'm doing everything. You're rejecting me, bruv. You need to listen. Something has to give, and it's not my mental health. No, my mental health is not giving. Sorry. I have to look after me at that 2 years. You have to really look at yourself and thinking, is this working for me? Am I happy in this? Is there a bigger picture? Can I create a bigger picture? Can I be happy somewhere else? You've got to answer all of those questions for yourself, young lady. You've got to answer all of those questions for yourself. I've been in a marriage, right? And I appreciate, we take vows, and it's so important, when we walk down the aisle and we take those vows, or we take those vows wherever we take them, in that moment, we're understanding that this is a lifetime thing. I don't think anybody goes into marriage lightly. But what you can't do is compromise yourself time and time and time and time again for the sake of somebody who's not communicating.
Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Faye. Michelle and Herbie, what was your advice? So Theo said
ultimatum.
Faye is saying that the woman is the most important thing, and she needs to look out elsewhere. Herbie and Michelle, what are you saying?
Ultimatum. I agree with ultimatum. You need to set a time, give an ultimatum. It's run too long now.
And she's gone through all the things that she's tried. It's not that she's trying and just saying, "I'll stop this for a game of love." She's not saying that. She's saying, I've tried everything. And as you said, her self-esteem, her mental well-being, yes, he may well have issues around that himself. However, if he's not communicating with her and she's trying to communicate with him, I was saying, cut him loose. Do what you have to, and say, with the ultimatum, and then this is an outcome, the possible outcomes.
Okay.
As hard as it is.
And Herbie, is Herbie, are you the same?
Yeah, the same. Yeah. I was saying, as I mentioned, I wouldn't really want to go down the road and have another third party that just seems all messy, whether it's consensual or what. But it just seems messy, you know what I mean? If I would just sort of cut and separate and then do what I'm doing. To go out having sex, intimacy with someone else, and then coming back, and to me it's just messy. Yeah. So I just ultimatum, and obviously if he deadline come and gone, you just pack up and you go, or well, not pack up and go, depends on the rate, but you separate and go your own ways. So yeah, it's just a long time. To me, I'm thinking that's a long time. You know what I mean? That's a long time, for a woman just in a marriage.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony, what is your advice?
It's been said over and over again, and people are saying I'm not giving suggestions. I was the one in said, go talk to one of his friends to have a chat. Yeah,
Talk to one of his
I
friends.
came up with that idea before you read it out that she said she's thinking of asking one of his friends to speak to him. That's just one piece of advice.
But that was read out from the beginning, though.
That bit
That was the part. That's not been part of the letter.
That bit you
That's
didn't read out.
that's
You didn't
part
read
of.
that bit out. You didn't read that bit out.
Yeah, she did.
I did.
Is it
I read the whole letter out.
with the
Well,
letter?
you can read it. We can go back and replay and
All
see.
right.
But what I'm saying,
right.
because the letter can't change. It's here. I've read the letter
All right.
out.
All right.
But but you're
So
saying speak
that
to
was
his
one of
friends,
that was one of the
right?
pieces of
Speak to his
advice.
friends.
Yeah. Go get
Yeah.
a marriage counselor.
She said that she's tried that.
No.
She's tried
Just go
counselling.
get one. Just go get one.
She's done
You
it
don't have to
already.
bring him. You don't have to go. You don't have to bring your partner to a marriage counselor. You can go see a marriage counselor.
Yeah, she's done it already.
On her own.
I'm saying she said in the letter she's done
Okay.
that already.
Okay.
That's what she said. That's
All right.
why she's saying she's at the end of her tether. She's done that already. She's
Okay.
she's tried to take him to the doctor, spoken
Okay.
to. She's done a number of things.
All right.
Okay. All right. So
now
this.
finish.
Oh, you're not finished. Okay. Go on.
No. So the next thing is changing the way you talk to the man.
Example.
If you're only trying to make that conversation in the house, go take it somewhere else.
Okay. What else will happen? Take it out of the house. Change your environment. Is that what you're saying? To have the conversation.
Exactly that.
Change the
Yeah.
environment conversation.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you done? Or is there anything else?
I'm sure if you ask your panel, you'll find lots of different ways to communicate with a man. But what I find funny is women who are saying go bring a third party into a relationship, but wouldn't be willing to act that same energy if a man said, I'm bringing the next woman in the relationship.
But how do you know that? You haven't asked them. That's an assumption in itself. That's an assumption too. You haven't asked them because you'd have to have the same. You'd have to have the same scenario, right? And most women here, I think, I'm not sure. The women can put on the feed if they want to, but most would say if I was in a situation where I didn't want to have sex with my husband, for whatever reason, I couldn't see what reason that would be. Just said I can't see what reason that would be. But if that wasn't, then I would have to. If I loved him and it was causing a rift in our marriage and I wanted to stay with him, then I would have to think. I'd have to listen to what he had to say. If I was in the husband's position, of course he'd have to hear what he had to say, innit? So I don't know. You know, it's the situation, whether male or female. You know, you've got to look at the situation for what it is. One of the things I do want to say is, you know, we're talking about their communication, and quite clearly the communication has broken down. There is a massive disrupt in their communication, and communication is one of the most important things. Not just to communicate, but to have the action behind it, because communication is just a lot of talk, and that's unfortunately a lot of humans are guilty of that. We do a lot of talking and then there's nothing to back it up. So in their communication it has broken down, but it's broken down severely. And one of the reasons why I say it's broken down severely, and if you are listening to this, I really want you to think about what I'm saying, is because you think about communication being 100%, you know, 38% of communication is your actual tone of voice. Now, if your husband is not talking to you at all, that's shut down. That's 38% gone. And body language is 55%. So each time and I hope the husband is watching this, each time you turn away from your wife, you're that big amount, 55%, is saying to her she's not attractive, she's not nice, she's not worthy, she's nothing to you. It's only 7%, in which we're focused on, well, they need to talk, they do need to talk, but actually it's only 7% of communication is actually words, and that's shut down. So if you can see, they've shut down their communication as a whole. If I go by this letter, has shut down completely. So I would say that if you as a husband are not willing to go with your wife to seek help, you may not want to talk to your wife. You might find it difficult to talk to your wife, but if you did go to counselling, you could talk to that counsellor, and that would be 100% confidential. So you could actually prevent a lot of this heartache and pain by just taking a brave and a bold step, if you want to look at it like that, and going and speaking to somebody that could really, really help you and keep your marriage together. Your wife wants the relationship to work. And I'm talking like I'm talking to the man, because I am talking to the man. Your wife wants to keep the relationship together. Your wife loves you. She wants the relationship to work. My question to you is, why don't you? Because every action that you are giving is showing that you don't want this marriage. Whether you're scared, you don't want to talk, what your actions is showing is that you do not want this marriage. Young lady who wrote in the letter, I am sorry, but this is my opinion and I stand by it. Your husband is not showing any form of communication that he wants this to work. So then the ball then goes back into your court as to what you really want and why you want to be still married to him. And it might be for the fact that you still love him, which is great. So if I were you, going by what all the panel members have said, I would give him an ultimatum with a time frame. This is just me. I would give him an ultimatum with a time frame and say, within this time, we will be going to, listen to the embedded command, we will be going to a counsellor and we will be working this out together. Because, and if there is a dark secret, like somebody said about someone dressing up and blah, blah, if there is a dark secret, then let it come out, let it be known. And assure him that regardless of what his truth is, that you're not going to shun him, you're not going to embarrass him, that you will try and understand. Because you've been married for 11 years of your lives. That's over a decade. I'm sorry. And that's an investment. I wouldn't be so quick to give that investment up. Not that easy. But that is where I am on that particular subject. That's my viewpoint, and I could have stretched this out to the end of the show, but I really feel like we need to really look at this for what it is, and it is a marriage, and you have said in no uncertain terms that you want this to last, but at the end of the day, the ball is in your court. This is your life. It's your life. And if your husband doesn't respect you enough, doesn't care about you enough, because remember, his actions do speak louder than words. So if he's not doing the things that if he's not protecting you, if he's not loving you, if he's not doing the things that a husband's supposed to do, then you may have to, take the hard road and let him go. But I would say give him a chance to rectify and say, I've booked this, we're going on this day, this time, be there. If you want this marriage to work, this is what it's going to take to do that. Anybody else?
If I may.
I was just saying.
Hold on 1 minute, Tony. Hold on, Tony. Let Michelle come in, and then you come in.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking as you were speaking, that even if he said something, a few words, it gives her a glimmer of hope that okay, there's something. But when it's completely nothing, you can't work with nothing. You need to have something to make something. Mm-hmm. So, even if it was just, a few words or a sentence, she'll think, well, okay, but when there's nothing, it's just difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult. I just think I actually just think that there's more to this. I think that there is an issue. There is something that she doesn't know. I do. That's what I think. I think there's something hidden, but that's just me. Tony, come in, babe.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. Can a man be a good man without sex?
Yeah, of course he can.
So are we not thinking that this man might actually be a very good man, but just not be having sex for the reasons that we've discussed earlier? Because we've targeted him as not liking, not being in love with the woman, possibly having an affair somewhere else, but we haven't turned around and said he could be the perfect man.
He's not
Tony, can I say, if you're
perfect man in her eyes, it's all about her. It's her perception of what that looks like. At the end of the day, I think she's probably, if he was being intimate with her, if he was kissing her, hugging her, and holding her, and doing all of those other things, I don't even think she'd be writing a letter today. I think the thing is, everything is missing from that side of the relationship, and this has been going on for a very long time. And everybody, I don't care who you are, you want to be kissed, you want to be hugged, you want to be loved on, you want to feel like somebody's loving you. You're sleeping next to somebody in your bed and they don't even hug you, they don't even kiss you, they don't even stroke you, nothing. Tony, who lives like that? Who can live like that in a marriage situation? We're not talking about a single woman here. We're talking about somebody who lays next to somebody in the bed. Even your natural instinct goes to that. Even if you don't mean to, you're in the middle of your sleep and you might roll over and put your arms over somebody, put your leg over somebody. You do it. It's instinctual.
That's you, Faye. That's you, Faye. That's not everybody. That's not everybody, Faye.
This is what we're talking about.
Say it was everybody.
You're tarring everybody with the same.
She didn't say it was everybody, Tony.
Tony, we're not talking about everybody, but
he's an exception.
Ron already said.
He's an exception.
And I've said it before, that non-verbal communication is the biggest part of the communication. So when that breaks down, when you have nothing, not even non-verbal, that's a whole load of the relationship missing.
But she didn't say that, Faye. She didn't say that.
She did say this
quite clearly in the letter that he communicates, but just not about sex.
He's not intimate, Tony.
No, he said he's not intimate.
Yes,
it's not intimate.
The rest of the relationship could be fine.
Different level.
But I'll leave that with you.
But Tony, she said there's no intimacy. No intimacy. No intimacy, my brother. You're not hearing the intimacy part. You're not hearing the intimacy part, man. You're not hearing the intimacy part, my brother. You're just hearing sex. Intimacy is not. It's a whole different ball game, sir.
Can I say if you're a good man, or a definition of a good man, you look after your wife, you look after your partner. I mean, if you're a good man and you're not talking to your partner, you're doing all these. I mean, you're treating her really bad. I mean, you know, that's not a good man. You can be. And the thing is,
she didn't say that. She didn't say that.
Asking your question, Tony. He's just answering.
No, I'm saying because you're saying he's a good man because he does everything else, but the sex part he doesn't communicate. It doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Something's going on there because if you're a good man, you would communicate. Part of it. That'd be part of it. You're not gonna communicate on every level. Come to sex, I'm not talking to you about that. We're not talking about that. It's like it don't make sense. You know what I mean? It sounds like you're hiding something because something's not quite right. You can't just not communicate on that and that thing. You're hiding something.
If you're a good person, you don't want to hurt your wife. You can see his wife is obviously in pain. She's upset. She's crying. Maybe she's crying in front of him. And he's a good man. That doesn't sound like a good man. You've seen somebody that you love, supposedly love, in pain, and you're just going to leave them in pain because you don't want to talk.
He probably gets a clue from that. Who knows?
Maybe he does get a buzz out of it. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I'm going off what you're saying, Tony. He's a good man. The relationship's good, but he doesn't want to talk about sex or be intimate.
I didn't hear the bit where she said, "I'm in pain."
So she's writing a letter. She's writing a letter.
She says, I am very frustrated.
She's frustrated and she's at a bit send.
And I am not happy. These were one of the first things that came out of the letter. Dear Yvonne, I have been married for 11 years. I am not happy and I am very frustrated with my husband. Me and my husband live like roommates and he shows no interest in me sexually. That's what she started. And then she talks about intimacy. We had a healthy sex life, she said. But it has deteriorated down to nothing. We have no intimacy, no touching, no nothing. We are great friends, but we are not mates. That's the very first thing that was said in the letter. It hasn't changed. And she asked about counselling, a doctor, medical, if there's something wrong. And he shuts down and says that she is nagging and asks the question, how can I be nagging if I'm asking my husband to make love to me? That's what she says, and she goes on in a letter. So I think it's quite clear that there's no intimacy.
She's upset. She's in pain. She's upset. She's written a letter, so she's upset.
She's hurting.
She's not happy.
She's not happy.
Because she didn't say she's sad, it doesn't mean that she's okay with it.
She's not happy. So if I love somebody and I see them not happy, I'm gonna want to make them be happy. I'm not gonna sit there and just make them suffer because I want to protect whatever I'm protecting or whatever's going on with me. I want to keep it quiet. You got to communicate. Even as Michelle said, give her something to make she go on. You can't just sit there for 2 years and don't give your wife a compliment. Like, you look very nice tonight, sweetheart. Or, that dress looks nothing. Not even a little compliment to say anything. To me, there's something strange there to me as a man. Have you done your hair today? Have you changed your hair? That's a nice hairstyle. That's nice lipstick. Come on. That's all part of it. So if you're not doing that for 2 years, nothing. She walks past you naked and you don't even bat an eyelid. She's put on weight. You haven't said anything. She's lost weight. You haven't said anything. She's walking past you in a thong or whatever underwear you like. And you're waking up and you're not even aroused. There's something going on. Speak it. You can't just be sitting there. And as someone said, bend over while he's watching football in some and nothing's happening. Come on, man. To me, there's more. There's more.
I can't see the TV.
You can't see the TV and all that. And she brought toys into the bedroom, and he left, and he wasn't moved. Come on. You can't just say he's not talking and there's other things. Come on, she's trying. From a woman gone out and brought toys and said, come, play with me, help me, even watch. You're just gonna say it's okay, he's not talking, he's a man. Nah, there's more to it. That's why I said give him an ultimatum. How much more can she do? How much more should she do? For the next 5 years, keep buying more toys? Someone said go on holiday. Go on holiday for what?
Take him money out.
Take him outside. What to hold his hand? He's your child. He's your child. He's a 50-something-year-old man. Grow up, man. That's what I say. Grow up. You got your wife there. You made a vow to this woman. Don't put her in pain and then leave her on the side for the next. Oh, I don't want to tell you. I'm dying. Oh, but she's gonna find out when you're dead, and you want her to bury you. Come on, man. Come on. You got to talk. You got to talk. You're 50. You're not 20. You're not 30. You're a 50-plus-year-old man. There's no reason to be sitting with your wife. If they were sleeping in separate beds, I'd understand. But you're waking up in the morning. I don't care which man it is. You're waking up in the things is hard.
Yeah.
And your wife is sitting next to you, and you're going, "Nah, I'm going to the toilet." Come on, man. Come on. Nothing at all. She's rubbing up on you. Doing all their stuff as women do when they want their, and you're just like, I'm tired. She's rubbing up on you like, bloody hell, come on then. Come on, man. You can't tell me I'm not talking, I don't want to talk. I'm feeling a bit shallow. I'm a bit depressed. Or talk, man.
Okay,
come on.
Let's sort that out.
Talk, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. No intimacy, not even touching her hand. Come on. And you want to go on holiday and not hold my hand.
And pass me the ketchup. Pass me the ketchup, he says, or whatever.
Innit? Come on, man. You can't say he's a good man and you got your wife like that. I can't accept that one. I can't accept he's a good man. That's not a good man. That's like seeing your child, Tony, in pain, and you don't want to help them out, and they're sitting on the ground crying, and you're gonna say, "Well, I don't wanna hug them because man don't hug picnic."
I'm
For
so
real.
glad you're saying it, brother. It's the talking,
For
innit? It's
real.
the talking. You got to talk. Got to find
Yes.
a way.
Tonight,
Go find a
let me
way.
just say, Theo, you are the golden mic holder today.
It's nothing about the golden mic, man.
I
I don't
know
like
it's
hearing,
not,
I don't
but
like
you
the
know what?
excuses man use,
But
man. Man
you
use too
know
much
what?
excuses, man. Stop
Yeah,
talking,
and,
man.
because
That's why there's
the
so much single
passion-
women in this world, man.
That's right.
Hey.
The passion and everything.
And single
Come
men
on.
as well. That's why there's single men and half the man standing out on the street corner drinking drink because they don't want to talk.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Say
Yeah.
it again.
that's right. And you know what weekend it is coming up? It is Valentine's weekend. So how much single man is going to be screaming them that have no Valentine?
Because they don't want to talk.
I don't.
They don't want to talk. But they want the lady to open up her legs when they're ready. Come on,
Come
man.
on now, brother.
Stop
Come on,
talking,
brother.
man.
Come on, brother.
Yeah.
Come on.
Ooh.
Yes, you wanted to open up her foot, but you don't want to do it. You don't want to talk. Mhm. But you
Talk,
could
man.
talk before. Hold
You
on,
could
hold on a
talk.
minute. Hold on. You've been married for 11 years. So at some stage you was talking.
And he was intimate.
At
It's the
some
intimacy
stage,
part I was talking. That bit
Yeah.
there I don't get. I don't get that bit, man. I don't get that bit. That bit that I
Yeah.
don't get. The
Yeah.
sex I can understand, but the intimacy, no
Intimacy.
touching, no nothing, no hugging, no compliment. I can't get that. That doesn't work for me.
I want you to just go in your mind's eye for just 1 minute. Imagine, men, imagine you are on a nice king-size bed, fresh sheets,
Four-poster. Make it a four-poster.
or even a 4-poster bed, right? Crisp,
You're talking now.
new sheets, right? Ladies, you just come out the bath, you put on this sweet cream, you cream up your body, everything just like glisten. The man in come out the bath, everything is everything. And he's laying there on the bed, right? Now you're laying there on the bed, and the woman comes in and she's cream up.
Jeez.
She cream up, and she's got a little something, so you can see, but you can't see, if you get what I mean, right? And she come and you can smell her, you can smell the sweetness as she's approaching, and there's a little bit of music going in the background. And she comes over and she lays down next to you, and she just start to stroke you nicely. What are you gonna do?
What?
You're gonna turn your back. Seriously. You're gonna turn your back and go sleep. And then, okay, so you've turned your back. Then she says, babes, stretch your hand over there in the drawer and just pass me a little toy over there. I want to show you something. And you go in the drawer and you pull out this toy. And then she says, oh, look at this. And she starts vibrate, oh, look at this. We're gonna have some fun. Let's have a game. Let's play. What are you gonna do? Seriously, I want you to think, men, where you are right now. Are you seriously gonna say, I can't be bothered and go sleep?
Listen, man, that's when miracles have to come true now. That's when you have to be going on the knees and praying if things not working. Because the thing is, you're going to want it to work. You know what I mean?
On. Yes, Herbie, talk the truth.
If the auto thing ain't working, you have to go on a manual thing. You have to do something, man. You can't let
Listen.
that pass you.
I'm going to buy one of Tony's blue tablets that Tony keeps talking about.
Listen, whatever.
Something's going to have to work.
If the thing don't listen, if your body parts don't stand up, we know you have a mouth, you have a tongue. Sort the lady out. I'm just
On
saying.
the elbow too.
The elbow.
Something
No,
goes. Something
that's
goes.
the thing. You stroke her. You don't even have to have intercourse. You just stroke her and you talk to her. What did we talk about? We spoke about what's the thing called again? With the sex therapist, Tantra.
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 Yeah.
There are so many other things that we can do and can be done. It doesn't have to mean that you have to have intercourse. So for me, as I said again, it's an excuse. All the time people say water more than flour. And that's what I believe. Water more than flour.
Even you've been around too many old people, man. You keep coming up with this old people saying, man. Or you're not telling us your real age. One of the two.
I'm actually 72. Did you not know
that? Sounds about right.
You see, when I spent a little bit of time with my grandmother,
Okay.
And I gravitated, I gleaned everything from her. You know, because my mom died when she was young. So I gleaned everything, and these little sayings just come back to me. And that's what she said. Water more than flour. You stay there. There's more to it. There is more to it. I don't know what's just happened there, but we're still live. So yes, guys, we this is the show this evening. I'm hoping that the young lady who sent in the letter has got something from this, but I do want to just go over just some of the things that were said. Is speak to his friend. One of the things that you could do is speak to a friend. Second thing is to change how you talk. And actually, I think that's quite a valid point, because if he's saying that you're nagging him, he might feel that you're at him in your tone of voice. Because remember what I told you about communication, 55% is tonality. And so I think, you know, changing how you talk, changing the way that you speak to him could help, or changing the environment. So don't wait until it's bedtime to talk about, are we having sex tonight? Because you know what, I don't see how you even asking somebody, are we having sex tonight? From I have to ask you the question, something's wrong, because it should just be something that things are go on. That's how I see it. And also, and in failing all of that, an ultimatum. I would give an ultimatum with a time frame attached to it, and I would be putting some embedded commands into that conversation. And I would say, we are going to the counsellor. I've made an appointment for us to go and see a counsellor, and we are going to go on this day, and you will be coming because we need to sort this out. Tony, you've got your finger up.
Yes, can I give another piece of advice?
You can.
Play the show to him.
yeah.
Especially the piece where Theo is talking the talk.
Yeah.
So many ways.
It's true. It's true.
So
Absolutely.
Many ways.
So many ways. So many ways. We are coming down to the end of the show tonight. It has been I knew this show would be fiery tonight. I knew it would be fiery. I knew that the panel would be like logheads, which it certainly was. Guys, just half a minute each. I want you to tell what your takeaway from tonight was before the end of the show. So I will go to Michelle and her, because you're at the top of my screen.
Communication is key.
Yeah, communication, and for men, men must talk. You know what I mean? Regardless, we're in a different level now. Not back in the day where men didn't talk. A lot of things. We've got a lot of awareness in, you know, health awareness and that. And to tell the truth, we know how important it is for us to talk. And if it's not even, if we can't talk directly to our partners, then we talk to someone else, but we can get round to our partner. You know what I mean? If we can't do it directly, but we've got to find somebody. We must have a friend you can talk to, but we've got to talk. It's a serious thing. It's not a, you know what I mean? Not a play thing now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Faye, I'm coming to you.
For me, it would be communication absolutely is key. But the thing that I would say, if you're really wanting to work at this marriage, the intimacy, work on the intimacy. That's where you need to start. Intimacy. Forget about because whatever the reason is, whatever it is, it can't start with the sex. It has to start with bringing back some of the intimacy, bringing back some of the why you fell in love with each other in the first place kind of things. So try and work on that, and hopefully, you know, that might work.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Faye. Tony, I know you've did your last bit, but you got half a minute, so go on.
Communication is key.
Yeah. Okay, is that it? I'm not used to you doing one-liners, Tony. Come on, you got to give me a heads up. All right, cool.
A one-liner all night. I said the show would have been short for me.
No, Tony, you haven't had many one-liners tonight. Theo.
What's the takeaway is talk, put it on the line, and look after yourself. You got to think about yourself in the long run, end of the day. you got to think about yourself and your mental health well-being on both parties. Both of them have to think about themselves. So that's my takeaway, is that they need to talk. The communication has to be most paramount. And if it's a one-sided conversation, then it's not really communicating and there's a problem.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you so much, panel members, for tonight. I would just like to add that communication without action is just talk. Yeah, so as much as you are communicating, there must be an action that goes on the back end of that. Something that you are both doing, that you are both happy, and a goal that you're working towards. Because like I say, if you're just chatting, communicate, it's just talk. And then there's no action. So we want to see action. We want to see marriages surviving and thriving. So I would say, you know, my takeaway tonight is that men need to stop making up excuses, but they don't talk, and talk the things. Talk the talk and walk the walk. That's my takeaway for tonight. But I'm hoping that one, that the lady who wrote in the letter would have got something out of this conversation, and two, as Tony suggested, and I think that was the best suggestion that Tony's made all night. Actually, I think throughout the whole of the program, I think this is the best suggestion we've ever had. Watch the show and see what you get out of it. Yeah, and just to say, guys, share this with your friends. Like, click and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Facebook, if you're in the After Dark Club, welcome, post, share, and like and subscribe, all of that lovely stuff. I want to thank everybody who has put their comments in the comment thread. I want to thank those who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube. I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of After Dark. We will be back next week with a Valentine's special. I do believe that everybody on the panel next week will be single or single-ish, I'm hoping, yeah. So we're having a Valentine special next week, and I will be letting you know what else is going on later on in the week. So for me, I'm your host, Yvonne Michelle. I want to bid you good night. Stay safe and stay warm. And I will say goodbye, and we will see you next week between the hours of 10 and midnight. But for now, ciao.
Wow.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
You ready? You got me running, got me running. Take it.